I need a crazy Balotelli story.
Throwing darts at people, bumping into cars in the training ground, not saying out, which was unfortunately one of mine. Wearing stupid gloves on his head, but you know, I like Mario.
It's James. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you, man. How are you?
Me.
Good.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. You like it?
Yeah, I like it, yeah.
So welcome to What I Wore. We've basically got a collection of shirts to kind of tell your life story. So me and you are just going to go through some of your childhood memories and just have some fun. Okay. So as custom, we always get our guests to wear a shirt. So we've got you Euro 96, custom made, Milner number 7
nice.
on the back. Do you mind popping it on?
Yeah, no problem, man. This was one of my favourite England shirts, I think, actually. It's a bit different. Obviously a badge right in the middle on the front, a bit different to what you'd normally see.
So we're going to start with you growing up. So we've got some of your childhood heroes here. Just pick me through some of these shirts. Tell me which ones stick out to you.
Shearer, obviously, a big one. Amount of goals he scored for England. I think the one that always comes to mind is the Holland one in 96. And he had that finish on lockdown, the slice into the top corner, didn't he? Unbelievable. And Gaza as well. How good he was and the goal against Scotland. Same tournament. I always remember Saturday mornings, Italian football, and he created a big interest, obviously, for England. I think in Italian football, and Italian football was massive at that time, and that was the Saturday mornings at that time. Great. I think it was Transworld Sport and then Italian football afterwards. We've
got some brighter colours here with these two guys. I know you idolised this guy.
Yeah, I think that was another great shirt as well.
Beautiful.
A great shirt. I think I had that one in blue, actually. Growing up, obviously, Brazil were always amazing to watch, and a team that, if England couldn't win it, but people supported Brazil because of how they played the game and the ability they had.
Boyhood team, Leeds, started off as a ball boy. Just pick me through some of your memories of these early shirts, what players stick out to you.
I think Tony Yeboah.
Scary.
He only scored unbelievable goals, great player, and became a fan's favourite very quickly. I think the goals he scored, he scored 2 within about 6 weeks. The one against Liverpool, I think it was, the volley at Ellen Road, and then Wimbledon afterwards, just ridiculous.
I want to know, as a young boy growing up in Leeds, the city is booming at the time, they're disrupting all the big boys as a team. What was it like, the city? What was the feeling like at that time?
The atmosphere around Leeds is always great in terms of the football. The fans are unbelievable. There's certain cities in England, and I've played for a few, obviously Newcastle, Liverpool, Leeds in the north. There's when the teams are doing well in these sorts of cities, they just love it. Manchester's the same, obviously, with the two teams going at it, and before it was obviously United dominating, and obviously now City have come through, and that rivalry, I think when teams are doing well, there's a buzz around the city all the time.
You was a ball boy when they played AC Milan?
Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was unbelievable result. It was a night, the weather was probably one of the worst you'll see. Just torrential. I think that added to the winning goal, really, where I think if Dida dropped it through his legs. It was 2 group stages, and you look at the teams they played, I think they had Real Madrid and Barcelona, AC Milan, and to get through to the semis. But that night in particular, I remember, because the weather and the last-minute winner, and it was just another great occasion, really.
I want to know, as a young footballer growing up, how different was it from now? Was it she's got players that you're coming up under? Did you have to wash their kit, or clean their boots? How different was that?
Yeah, a lot different. Clean the players' boots. You had to prepare the drinks. Every player had different drinks. You had to do the drinks, pump the balls up, cones, collect the balls in after training. If the lads have done a shooting session, they've gone over into neighbours' gardens and things. You're knocking on the front doors to get them back. Yeah, it was different. I was playing in the first team, and after games I'd be picking up the kit in the dressing room and helping with skips after the game I was playing. So it was a special day when the kit man said, get yourself on the bus after about 20 games or something like that. But yeah, that was part of it, and that's maybe gone out of it a bit more now, but I think that's helped me have that upbringing, and I feel like you have to earn the right to be in amongst the big boys in the first team dressing room.
Came into the first team in this shirt against these guys. Debut for your boyhood club, what was that like for you? Putting on this one? Yeah, amazing. I think obviously wearing it since I was 9, 10 anyway in the academy, when you put it on in the first team, and playing for your hometown club. At the age I was, I'm pretty sure 90% of the Leeds fans thought, who's this guy? But then they probably knew you soon enough against these guys.
First goal, obviously,
And you became like youngest Premier League scorer at the time. That must have been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really realise at the time. You just want to play, you want to improve, you want to get on the first team and score goals. And it's a bit of a whirlwind when you look back at how young I was and you see how big the shirt was, and just come straight out of school. Yeah, it was a mad time, and to score there on Boxing Day was special. And that first whole experience of training Christmas Day and going to a hotel and stuff like that, and whirlwind really. But then to get your first goal and then score a couple of days later, Alan.
Yeah, he scored in this number 38, come off the bench.
Yeah, it was both games. I came on as sub quite early in the first half, I think. Obviously knowing who was in the ground and people who were my mates at school and my family, and to be able to score there and in a big game as well, important game to score a goal, and it was a nice goal as well. It was amazing.
So you grew up when Leeds were kind of booming, had a great Champions League run, and then 2 years later you kind of saw the demise in these kind of shirts. What was your feeling? Was it weird for you when you saw Leeds go down?
Yeah, it was horrible. It's probably one of the worst moments of my career. I think obviously the team that you've been supporting all your life, your first team you played for, there was a lot of stuff going on at the time, off-field problems, financial problems. As a young player, you had to grow up quick. I think I was protected well by the club and the senior players at the time. I think the fourth official put a minute up when the game we got relegated. I think it was Bolton away, and the fans were singing "We're going down in a minute," and just the support incredible. And it's a special club. And I think I'm biased, but I think most people will agree with me. It's a club which I think definitely belongs in the Premier League.
Then you moved to the stripes of Newcastle, and then you get to play with your childhood hero. How was that like?
Growing up, watching how many goals he scored and how good he was, and then seeing him in training, being able to put crosses in for him, and Bella's used to be not too happy with me when I used to put crosses in, because he wanted it to feet, and it's like we've got Alan Shearer in the middle. So
2008 you joined Aston Villa.
Yeah, amazing time at Villa, exciting team we had at the time. I think probably one of the most exciting to watch, especially away from home. We were very good defensively, very solid, and came close to winning a trophy. Didn't quite do it, and top four as well. We were so close. That shouldn't be in it. This game in particular probably felt hard done by a refereeing decision, but that's football. Unfortunately, taking the lead 1-0, and we couldn't quite hang on. But a great occasion, great atmosphere, great to play and score in a final at Wembley. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a trophy because we're an exciting team.
You joined Sky Blue City. Did you know the boom was about to happen, Manchester was about to turn blue?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was an exciting time. You could see that by the investment. He definitely was going to be on the back. I know he was always going to be on the back.
I need a crazy Balotelli story.
You've probably heard them all, to be fair. There's not too many that you won't have heard. Throwing darts at people, bumping into cars in the training ground, not saying out, which was unfortunately one of mine. Wearing stupid gloves on his head, but I like Mario. He was an unbelievable player, great penalty taker, good finisher, crazy and needed a rocket at times. Obviously, I had a pretty good relationship with him, so I never really had too many problems with him.
And then you have this great iconic moment, the Aguero moment. How crazy was that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I think obviously every time you think of it, it's one of those moments if you did a film about it and you said this was the film, you'd say no, that never happened, it's unrealistic. Every time you see it, the hairs go up on the back of your neck. So it was one of those moments. I think people love seeing that moment, even if they're nothing to do with Man City, just because of what it was. Everybody who loves football, from a neutral, probably not the United fans, but I'm pretty sure most of the people would look on it fondly, and that's why we love football.
2015, you joined the Mighty Reds. Was there pressure coming into the shirt? Because you chose number 7. That's Dalglish, that's Keegan, that's Suarez. Did it add any pressure to be number 7 of Liverpool?
Yeah, I'd have said so, but I'd like to think I've worn it as well as I could do and shown it the respect it deserves. And like I say, I think any shirt you wear at Liverpool is a big shirt.
Do you hate this guy?
There's some bad. I don't hate him. There's some bad memories in there, obviously, and the worst part about it was I went away to Spain just after this to get away from it, and whose buggy's parked in front of mine on the tea time.
No way.
So I couldn't even get away from him a week later. But yeah, the goal was incredible, and I think how good the goal is in any game is top, but to change a game in a Champions League final like it did, you sometimes just got to have respect.
Very next year you get your redemption, but before we get to the final, I want to talk about these guys. Like, I was there at the new camp first leg. I didn't think you guys had a Scooby, so just tell me how you pulled it off at Anfield that night.
Yeah, I think the first game wasn't a fair result of the game, but you know, football isn't fair at times, and when you've got that guy on the other team, it's very hard to run as fast as you can as well with your legs closed, as I find out, and it can make you look stupid. But you know, the free kick he scores, the player is, it's always going to be tough. You know, so we have to pick ourselves up from that first game. We had Newcastle away going for the league at the weekend, tough game. They fought all the way. We scored late. Hoping City dropped points the night before the game, and Vinny Company scores a once-in-a-lifetime slice into the top bin. Typical Vinny, not. And then we have to pick ourselves up and go again, and against all the odds, really. And you know, it was one of those special nights at Anfield. Atmosphere was unbelievable. Set the tone at the kick-off, I think, with the whistles. Put all that together of what had happened a few days before the Newcastle game, the defeat, and having to pick ourselves up within 6 days or something. Says a lot about the club and you know, the fans as well, but the team and the character within the team and the ability that was there with players missing who weren't playing for us.
So then, final in Madrid.
You know, playing in Champions League final is always special. I think made more special by the year before, obviously losing. I think getting 97 points in the Premier League and not getting over the line, and the hardest bit of that was driving out of the ground and under the ground they had the podium where if we'd have won the league we'd have been stood on, and they were moving that away, and you're driving past that. Final Premier League game of the season, what could have been. So then obviously the pressure on this to have to do it 2 weeks later against another English team was always going to be tough. We know how good they are, so on its own is special, but to share it with the boys and what a great relationship we have in that dressing room, all the lads together and the team spirit, and yeah, it was just an amazing time for everyone. And then you go on the parade and you come back and say how much it means to all the fans.
So then we're going to move on to your international career, your debut against Holland. How was it like to put on the 3 lines for the first time?
Yeah, amazing. I think I've played so many times for the 21s and been waiting so long to get a chance. I was warming up actually in the game, and Stuart Pearce was like, come on, hurry up and get your kit off before he changes his mind. So it was like, get on there, and managed to set a goal. I think we were 2-0 down at the time. We ended up drawing 2-2, and someone's knocked a sideways pass, and I cut it out and set one up for JD and got a kick in the head as part of it. But it was obviously worth it and amazing to make your debut and come on and make an impact. And then from that point on, I'd made a mark and got in the squad.
Now, I would say that when I watched you playing for England, like 2012 was like your best performances in an England shirt.
Playing for England in a major tournament is special. It's completely different to how you imagine it to be for me. I think obviously when you're a fan and you've got that buzz in England and all the games are on everywhere and you see the flags, and when you're in the tournament, obviously you're in the team hotel and you're just waiting for those games to come around, everyone else is playing, and it's a lot of downtime and things like that. But the time the game comes and you walk out for the first time, and that atmosphere and the England band and the flags everywhere, it's special.
Last question, so you're in a burning building, you've got to save 2 shirts.
Ooh. Yeah.
So one is based on your most fondest memory in a football shirt, and the second one is based strictly on the style. First, we're going to go with fondest memory in a football shirt.
Well, that one's getting thrown into the fire. Champions League's obviously more recent, Premier League's obviously massive as well. So it's hard to separate those. So I'm going to go with first goal at Ellen Road.
Okay, next one is based on the style. I like this one personally, but you can't have this one.
No, it's lively right now. I'm not sure I can pull it off as well as you do. Do you know what? I think I'd have to go that one.
Dino one, yeah?
Yeah. I think so. I like the England ones, quite retro. I think you could. It's tough. Maybe that one.
Okay, so England or Dino? I'll give you both because.
All right, yeah.
I'll give you both.
It's flexible then.
Yeah, good. James, thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.